All right, this is a political video that I'm gonna sign. This is Josh Manza. I'm gonna do Josh Manza for signing.